Alright, so I don't know why you guys want to know what it's like to get put unconscious or knocked out or choked out or whatever, but let's just talk about it anyways. So if you guys don't already know who I am, my name is Mark. This is my YouTube channel. It's called Superhuman Fitness. My channel goal is to help beginners just get more into shape and learn to defend themselves. Hopefully not have to get into a situation where you do have to defend yourself, but if you do get into that situation, I want you to be confident enough just to be able to defend yourself and get out of that situation the best that you can. That being said, I don't know why you guys want to know what it's like to be knocked out, but we're going to talk about it anyways. So first of all, there's about 3 different types of knockouts, right? There's like an actual knockout, which is the one you guys are probably thinking of, where somebody gets punched and they go unconscious and go to sleep, right? So that's knockout number 1. The second one is called a TKO, technical knockout. And the definition for a TKO is basically somebody who is in a situation where he or she cannot defend themselves intelligently, right? So what this means is basically like somebody gets on top of a mount, which is basically where you're sitting, somebody's on the ground, you take them down or whatever, and you sit on top of them, and you're punching them, but they're still conscious, right? But they just can't like block anything. They're just getting pounded down. So that is a TKO. The ref stops it because they know this guy, if this kept going, this guy would just get beat up worse, right? It might not be a knockout, it might be, but there might be brain damage, you know? There's some bad stuff that comes from that. So a TKO is a shortage when a person cannot defend themselves intelligently, right? Now, there's also one more kind. This doesn't really classify as a knockout per se, but you're still getting put unconscious, right? So this is just being choked out, right? This is a blood flow stoppage to the brain, right? So this mainly happens from jiu-jitsu chokes, like a triangle choke, which is a a leg and arm choke, which is like one arm stops one carotid artery, the leg stops the other, and you tighten it. The triangle just gets tighter and tighter until there's like the person either taps out or they go to sleep, right? So these are the 3 different kinds. Now, what's the difference between them? Well, the TKO, you don't really go to sleep, right? So that one is just embarrassing, right? Like, you know, you couldn't have really done anything. You couldn't get a better position. You were just sitting there and you're like, dude, like my training isn't helping me. Like I didn't train the right way, or like something's wrong. I just couldn't get out, and it's embarrassing. But like I said, now there's the actual KO, right? Getting choked out or getting punched and put to sleep that way, right? And some of you guys might be like, those are completely different. And you're right in the sense of the way they're like induced, if that makes sense. So like one's a punch, one's a choke, right? But the similarity is you don't feel anything for either. So you're out, you're unconscious, right? Like you're sleeping, you don't feel anything. So you're just out. And you wake up. This is where it starts being weird, right? Like I said, I haven't been punched, knocked out, but I've been choked out, right? And basically what this is like is you wake up and you're like, yo, why am I like sleeping here? Like I should be on my bed. And or at least this is for me, right? You just wake up confused, long story short. But what I did, I was waking up, I was like, yo, like why am I here? Like I should be sleeping on my bed, not on this place. And then I started being like, oh, I am not sleeping here. I just got put out. Like, it was crazy. And I got up, I started smiling because I was like, yo, that's crazy. I've never had that happen. But it's really weird, right? Like, there's one where you get punched out. That one can actually be bad, right? Like, you never want to go unconscious, really. But getting punched out, it's a lot worse than getting choked out, because this is just blood flow, right? But you're getting punched, that's brain damage potential, right? If you get put out, that's just no bueno, right? Like, one of the guys that did a podcast with, his name is Ramsey Dewey. Awesome guy, by the way. So Ramsey Dewey actually was in this fight, and he had a guy who basically knocked him out in one punch, right? So it was a hook, whipped his chin this way. That's obviously what gave him the knockout, but then he got punched again. The second one woke him up. Isn't that crazy? The second one was incaved skull fracture, something like that, where literally the skull like bends inwards. It's actually crazy. You guys should watch that podcast. Crazy podcast. But this dude literally has like a hole in his skull, and he's like awake. He doesn't know like what to do. He can't defend himself, and that's just crazy. So he wakes up. This is actually a crazy story, which is why I'm telling you this. But he wakes up in the I forgot where it was, but he's with his one of his coaches or something, and he's like, yo, I'm ready to go fight, like, when's my fight? They sit him down, they're like, dude, you got knocked out. So the memory becomes all screwed up. This is all from striking. That's the difference, right? Striking, if you get punched, that's brain damage, like, you start forgetting stuff. But getting choked, like, at least one time, like, it's not really gonna do much. But getting knocked out, like, with a punch, you gotta be careful. That's why I'm really big into, like, grappling, just because it's a safer way of, like, being able to train more frequently. If you train with the wrong people when you're doing striking arts, you will get damaged really bad. You don't want somebody who's like new but big just to come pounding on you because they think that's what they're supposed to do. But in jiu-jitsu, if somebody big comes and tries to do anything, really, you're just going to put them in a less dominant position than they were in earlier, because you know now that you don't really mess with this person. Anyways, I'm ranting, but what does it feel like to get knocked out? For a choke, it feels like nothing. Then you wake up, you're kind of confused at first, and then you're like, you realize what happened and you're fully good to go within like probably like not even 20 minutes. Good to go is in like functional, by the way. Like, if anything does happen, make sure you guys do go to a doctor or a medical care provider or anything like that. Because I'm not going to be responsible, right? But that being said, I personally felt good after 20 minutes. Being knocked out by a punch, that's obviously a concussion. No bueno. Obviously get care for that too. What does that feel like? Like I said, nothing. You wake up, it feels like confusing, and you're wondering like what just happened. You might be able to recall like just some memory might be messed up depending on how bad it was. Maybe headaches the next couple days, but that's about it. I don't want to say that's it because stuff can vary a lot, but it's obviously worse than being choked. And then there's a TKO, which is you're not technically like put out cold, but it's a technical knockout, so you just couldn't defend yourself. So what does that feel like? Embarrassing. Just embarrassing, or that's the best way to put it, at least. So anyways, I hope this did answer your guys' question. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Comment down below if you've ever been knocked out, and let me know what you would like to see next. Love you guys. Peace out.